The London property market, a place where it is totally acceptable to sell absolute trash for extortionate amounts of money. So come along today as I explore some of London's cheapest houses in 2024. And one house that was surprisingly interesting, as it looked like it had been less used for living in and more used for growing something in. So let's go find out what that was. Welcome back to London and to another interesting property video. Now, I've done loads of these before, they're so much fun to make. I did one earlier this year, London's cheapest flats, where I went looking at the shocking, tiny, derelict flats that were up for sale for crazy amounts of money. And in that video I said, sometimes I get recognised at these property tours now and I have to wear a disguise. So in that video I put on my iconic disguise. Hard hat, high vis and a lanyard. I also said in that video, when I come back down to do London's cheapest houses, I want you to let me know what disguise I should use. And I had some great suggestions. I had a judge, I had a priest, I had a burqa, which whilst would probably be the most effective, I think I also might get cancelled. And then someone commented with the greatest disguise I have ever heard of. So today, ladies and gentlemen, I will be, as I try to hide my identity whilst viewing property, I will be disguised as an estate agent. Look at this, I've got the shoulder bag, I've got the suit that's just a little bit too small, I've even got the wireless Bluetooth headset. I've got the smart shoes on. Check them out. Today I am playing the estate agents at their own game by turning up as one of them. Will it work? Let's go find out. Right, welcome to Finchley and to the first house that I am going to view. It's North London. It's on the border of zones on the border of zones 3 and 4. I think it's on for £300,000 if my memory serves me correct. But what's amazing about this house is, and I've viewed loads of these in my time viewing properties, is I think it's an abandoned grow house, a house that was used to illegally grow cannabis, and it'll have been busted by the police. Everything illegal will have been seized, but everything else remains. And I've been to them before where I've literally still found bits of cannabis on the floor. So I'm super excited to go and see the state of this property, what will be inside. So let's do it, let's find out where it is. So here's the street the house is on. It's very nice. Got all that lovely bit of green across there. There is a big dual carriageway just over there, which is a bit noisy, just up there. So this is the property. So another guy who's viewing it said that he's seen the deeds and all that land there doesn't come with the house. So this is the listing online for this property. As you can see here, it's got that guide price of £300,000. Now it will go to auction and probably go for more than that. And this is what I'm talking about. It looks like somebody has been growing something in here. So let's get in and find out what they've been growing. Now, as you entered the house, you could tell immediately that it was in fact just a tip. There was this big cutaway in the wall, which led through to what I assume was once the kitchen. However, it can't have been used as a kitchen for a very long time, and I soon came to realise that was the case with every room in this house. They have completely lost their purpose. And outside the room as well, there was a whole bunch of plant pots. So whoever lived here clearly had an interest in herbology, let's say. And then moving through this room here, you can see that the entire ground floor is just covered in soil, and you quickly become aware that this in fact was a grow house, a house used for the purpose of growing cannabis. And it was everywhere. There was literally still bits, like I said earlier, of the plant on the floor. So you can see here that the house has been completely modified with all these extra lights, extra cables, giant ventilation tubes coming in and out of the walls. It was in fact incredibly hard to walk anywhere in this house without banging your head on a light or getting tangled up in some electrical wire. And it genuinely is fascinating to look around these properties, but you do not feel like you are looking around a house that you might want to buy. It feels like some strange museum. And upstairs just continued to be an absolute tip. More giant ventilation shafts just hanging down, stopping entry into what I assume would be a bedroom, or was once a long time ago a bedroom, now just covered in soil with those low hanging lights. This really felt like a serious operation going on inside here. I'm no expert, but I have viewed a lot of these grow houses before, and this definitely is the most kitted out that I have ever seen. Then into the bathroom, which again, not really a bathroom anymore, some giant red thing in the bath, which I assume is not for cleaning yourself yourself with. And then you went down this corridor to the other end of the house. Again, just giant ventilation shafts. All this rubbish on the floor. I'm sure it does have a purpose. To this big bedroom on the end. I'm calling it a big bedroom. It was a good sized room. They'd utilised it really well to grow more weed. And you could just smell it everywhere. That familiar scent of cannabis. And now this was the garden outside. I'm not sure how much of the garden you actually get with the house. I know you don't get that caravan to the side. And then just another look at this room here. Look at that. And there was one more room in the house, which was a small bedroom where I assume the person who'd been looking after all the grow had been sleeping. It was horrible. Definitely the worst room in the house. It stank. The mattress was gross. There was some weird cooking facilities over here where I assume they'd eaten. And also there was this big box outside the room which was full of string. So I assume that the person growing the weed had also loved knitting. Now, this house, which is crazy, sold for £503,000. £500,000. I cannot believe that. I did not expect it to go for so much. Damn, that place was insane. I have seen houses that have had rooms converted for the use of growing cannabis, but I've never been in a place like that where every single inch of the house had been completely changed to fulfill its new purpose of growing weed. The structural damage you could just see everywhere where then pipes were coming in and out. I have no idea how damaging that actually is, but I mean, it can't be good, can it? There were some guys walking around looking at stuff going, oh yeah, bathroom would be nice there. Oh yeah, we could put that there. I was like, really? I don't know, that seems a bit, yeah, to put it politely, fucked. So as of August 2024, the average house price, this is not including flats, the average house price was £531,000 in London. So Kensington and Chelsea once again holds on to the highest house price on average, where it's 1.17 million for a house, and the lowest area is Barking and Dagenham, where the average price for a house is £335,000. So house prices in London are up 1.4% compared to last year when I came down, which is crazy to think when I think it's the general consensus that seller expectation does still outweigh massively what the buyers can pay. And after seeing that place today, for that much money, God, who knows what else London has to offer us today. And the disguise, the estate agent disguise, working perfectly. If anything, too good. I was far better an estate agent than the guy that rocked up. Right, let's go to property number 2. So for this next viewing, I've come over to Brentford in West London. Now, I know this area really well because I went to university in Chiswick, which is literally like a 15-minute walk that way. So I know just how expensive the housing market is around here because I had to stay in it when I was at university. But I found this property for sale for 250 grand and it looked big, and I was like, there's got to be something wrong with that. So I thought, let's get a viewing, let's go check it out, see why this house in this expensive area is going for so cheap. So the viewing's in about 20 minutes, so let's go check it out. Right, there it is. So it looks like the reason why it might be cheap is because it appears not to have a roof, which, yeah, that'll knock some money off it. But look at that, bloody hell. So here is the listing for property number 2, and as you can see, it's got that £250,000 price tag, which is good for London, especially West London. They do say that West is best. Now, heading inside, you have got the kitchen on the right-hand side, which is a total building site. It looks like someone started the work and thought, nah, this is too much effort, and just chucked it back on auction. The ceiling there in a really, really bad way. And then heading through the kitchen, you've got the bathroom, a downstairs bathroom. Again, there pretty much isn't a ceiling there. That's all come through, and I assume that's from the roof or the absence of a roof. In the shower here, there was something really, really strange. It looked like some sort of carcass of an animal, but I think it was in fact just some fallen insulation. And then through to the toilet on the end. Again, no ceiling at all. Total mess, this room. This house genuinely was, well, I'm thinking so far, the worst of the day, but who knows what else we will find. And then onto the living room. And the living room was absolutely shocking. Look at all that rubble that has just fallen through the house. Complete water damage, just wrecking the internal structure, everything falling through. and I kid you not, I was walking around and part of the ceiling just fell right beside me. And this is where I realised that the Hard Hat High-Vis lanyard is far more effective in keeping me safe when viewing these properties than the estate agent outfit. But up the stairs we went to see what the state of the house up here was like. And it was absolutely awful. I cannot believe the state of this. And this is on for £250,000, which is still a lot of money. It's not just pennies, is it? Anyone in the roofing game out there watching, let me know, how much would this cost to fix? I'm talking completely sort all that out. Not the rooms below, just the roof. And then looking around here, you can just see all this mold, just the water damage that has just come through into this house and is still coming through. You can smell it, you can feel it, you can see it everywhere. And then into the other side of the house, which again, just a total wreck. And I know it's location, and oh, it's a property in London and it's the land that's valuable. But from the outside perspective looking in, it is just mind-blowing when you see a property like this and then you see the price tag of £250,000. It is just ludicrous. One final room on the end of the house here, and it had this lovely open plan feel. And what I mean by that is there was a hole in the side of the house. Just a giant hole, covered up with a bit of tarp. I did keep finding these weird little interesting things around the house though, like this box of pristine comics in sealed bags, and all these poker chips on the floor. I had no idea who had lived in this house, and the detective in me wanted to know. There were also these boxes of vinyls lying around. But did it make the house £250,000? Absolutely not. Bloody hell, that was one of the worst, I have been in worse than that. I have been in worse houses than that, but up there with one of the worst I've ever seen on the market, and that was what, £250,000. Now I will be very surprised if that actually sells. It's clear that someone, a builder, because there's loads of like building materials still around, has tried to take that on, do it up, and just thought, nah, get it back on auction. But we'll find out. I'll put in what it went for. God, that was awful. Would you believe that this house sold at auction for £374,000? Crazy. And on another note, the estate agent disguise was working so well, I'd slowly started to convince myself that I was one. They're not going to take less than £500,000. They're not going to take less than £500,000. Look, darling, you can offer 480 if you want, but they're not going to take less than £500,000. I've got another call, my love. Cha-cha. Turnip Property Sales and Lettings. Hi, Claire. Yes. No, we've not got the keys yet. We can't, no, honestly, don't worry about contacting me, I'll call you. Okay, my love, got another call, cha-cha. Turnip Property Sales and Lettings. Hi, boys, yeah. No, your rent is going up because the market is going up. Yeah, well, I've spoken to the landlord and he's happy to sell, so okay, my loves, cha-cha. God, I would be a brilliant estate agent. I am wasted in the YouTube world. Now, one of the properties that I was going to view has cancelled on me, which is annoying because it looked amazing. Well, it looked absolutely awful, but yeah, that's what I was wanting to find. I'm going to show you the listing anyway, and then we can follow it to auction as well with the others. And also, I want to talk about these other properties that I've seen in London, which are, well, they seem reasonably priced anyway, but they are only for the over 60s, which I just think is ageist. In the PC world, in the age of fairness, how come the old people get all the good houses? So I'll speak a bit about them as well. So this house that I couldn't end up viewing was in Croydon, and it was on for £275,000 guide price. So it would have been the cheapest of the day, and it looked absolutely terrible. Look at that kitchen. I mean, I've seen some bad kitchens today, but I think that would be the worst of the day. And the rest of the house, yeah, just looked like a total mess. £275,000 for this. It just blows my mind. It really, really does. As I was editing the video, though, I came across this house, which blows my mind even more, which was on for £850,000. £850,000 in North London, above Notting Hill, so it is a good location. But how long does a good location really have any merit now that everyone can and does just work from home? Are these properties going to stay this way? Do they really think they can hold on to that value? And the best thing about this house is, this really made me laugh, the toilet is outside. So I just want to talk quickly about these houses that are reserved for the over 60s, as I'd seen loads of them online. I wanted to do a bit more research, and look at this one, half £500,000 house, far better than anything I've ever seen in London. It's actually in decent nick, no holes in the ceilings, it's not falling down. And as I looked into it, it says only for the over 60s. It then goes on to say that the full listed price of this property is £875,000. So what's going on? Why do they get it cheaper? Well, it turns out that it is a lifetime lease. If you are over 60, you can purchase this house with a lifetime lease. So it turns out that I actually think this is awful, even for the over 60s, because leases are awful, leases on flats are awful, leases on houses are awful. Look at this. When the buyer dies or moves into a care home, the property reverts to the company. So you might only live 20 years and you've spent £500,000 on a house. Avoid leases. So let me know, do you rent in London? How much do you pay for your rent? Do you own your own house in London? How much did you buy it for? Or do you want to move to London? Buy a property here. What attracts you to this ludicrously expensive city? One of the most expensive cities in the world to live. What is it that pulls you here or keeps you here? What is it that stops you moving somewhere else where for, say, £300 you could get an absolutely beautiful house? I'm surprised there aren't more people sleeping in tents in London with the prices. So welcome to Tufnel Park. It's zone 2. It's getting closer and closer to Central. Camden's not far away. And as I said before, I'm going to show you some houses that, well, this one's not exactly cheap, but in this area, I couldn't really find anything cheaper. And it's on for £1 million. And when I saw this, the pictures, I thought, that is what you get for £1 million. I want you now to just picture in your head what you think a £1 million house looks like, what you're conjuring up. So I don't know, where I live, you can just get an absolute mansion for £1 million. So on that note, let's go check out this house that's for sale for £1 million. I'm so intrigued to get inside. Right, so it's this one here. So here is the listing online for this property, the house that is on for £1 million. I cannot wait to get inside and have a look around. So as we go inside, the rooms are actually in alright nick. The plasterwork seems alright. They're not falling down like the rest of the houses, but still £1 million. Well, I'll let you make your mind up on that. This is a £1 million kitchen, kitted out fully with the latest spec, the latest gear, lots of room for making lots of meals. I always do an oven check to see the state. Yep, not been cleaned. Here is your £1 million bathroom. Again, you've got a lovely bathtub there. You can have a nice bath in that. You just might want to give it a little bit of a clean first, but you can do that. Don't worry about that. You'll sort that quickly. So upstairs to the second floor, and you've got this room on the end, which was a nice room, I guess. Didn't really need much doing to it. Maybe a new carpet. And it did lead out onto a garden. Now, having a garden in London, I think literally adds like 300 grand onto your property. So there you go. That's a lot of the money right there. And then going through to another upstairs kitchen slash boiler room, another toilet here. I think this house might have once been split up into flats. So you had like multiple people living on different floors, hence the many different rooms that are kitchens. Quite a bit of mould on this wall here, which wasn't what I was picturing when I conjured up the image of the £1 million house. Through to another living room here, upstairs living room, I guess you could call it, or a big bedroom, all right size room, just carpet down there that needs replacing. And then we are through to the final floor of the house. So 3 floors. Big does mean better in London, and better means more expensive. So this room here, a bit of wallpaper off, but nothing too bad with it. There is a bit of mould up there in the corner, and then just a little estate agent check. I'm still looking good. And through to the final room up here, which, yeah, this had a lot of mould on the wall. Part of it was crumbling, but not too bad to be fair. But for £1 million, no, it is bad. It's terrible. It shouldn't look like that at all. And then there was one final bathroom up here that I really liked, actually, because when you turned the light on in there, it sounded like the room was run by a steam engine, and I love steam engines. Check it out. So there we go, the £1 million house viewed, and to be honest, it was actually in a far better state than I imagined. That's £1 million, and I mean, it still wasn't what you imagine £1 million to be, but the house was in actually alright shape. There was only a tiny bit of damage. There was a bit of a garden. There was a lot of rooms, and it is in a good location, I guess, if that's what you're after. But I'm so intrigued to see what that one actually sells for at auction. I'll be able to put it in, but I think that's going to go for way, way more than £1 million. We'll see. And I was right. This house sold for, well, basically £1.4 million this house went for, which I cannot believe. 400 grand over the guide price. Now, when I think of a £1.4 million house, I think of somewhere like this, up in Bacup, in Lancashire. Beautiful part of the world, Bacup. £1.4 million, basically. Let's have a look. So, call me old-fashioned, but this is what I picture when I think of a £1.4 million house. A house with some land, a house surrounded by trees. Does it have gates? Of course it has gates, because you spent £1.4 million on it. Now, going inside, what's going to be there? Is that a grand piano? I think that might be a grand piano. Of course it's a grand piano, because you spent £1.4 million on it. You know what I expect? I expect fireplaces. I need an ARG. I need some busts of Greek men with really good beards. I need a 4-poster bed. I want a sculpture of a warthog in my room just because I can. I need a garden where I can throw extravagant Gatsby-style parties. And if I can't get that, then I'm not spending £1.4 million on it. So there we go, another property video completed in London, and another successful disguise, whilst the hard hat high-vis lanyard is perfect for when you need to blend into and disappear within society. The slightly small suit, the satchel, and the Bluetooth earpiece is what you need to penetrate a society that I didn't know existed until today, and that is the world of the successful. I have had men in suits standing on the tube nod at me in approval, as if to say, you are welcome here, you belong here. People have looked at me thinking, there goes a man in sales, I hope he's selling well. And in all seriousness, it has been a lot of fun wandering around in this suit. Please do recommend me some more disguises for my next property videos. And it's been insane looking at the houses, like those grow houses, the old cannabis houses are just incredible to look round with all the equipment still there. It's mind-blowing that they just leave it all there and expect people to think, oh yeah, this house is nice. And that other one that was just, I mean, falling down. And the £1 million house one, hopefully we'll have found out by now in the video if it went for a lot more than £1 million, which I'm pretty sure it will do. Oh, 1 second, sorry. Hello, Turnip Property Sales and Lettings. Yes, hello, my love. Yeah, you're not getting your deposit back now. No. Yeah, that's ours now. Yeah, all of it. Okay, my love, cha-cha. Turnip Property Sales and Lettings.